It's fine. Again, a little bit of when we were testing earlier, it was all fine, and then of course, the moment we actually start doing things, it's inevitable. Someone out there in Berlin has got myself and Alex's names written down to traumatize where and when possible.
Yeah, it's rough. It's really frustrating, but here we are. It's game on. It's LJL time. Beautiful, beautiful Sunday morning, or whatever time it is where you are across the world, dear viewer.
You could be watching this on a VOD, and in fact, whenever you're watching this in the future, have a nice message from the past. I hope it's a lovely day where you are as well.
Yeah.
Whenever you are.
Might not be Sunday, whenever and wherever, in time, space, and hopefully not the United
Galaxy far, far away.
Gosh, it's always a question with the internet, isn't it? How long is this stuff gonna live for?
That's actually the internet archiving is a really interesting one, especially considering
that far in the future. If comments are still a thing and they've not made that super illegal, this is Ebby doing illegal things here to Washi.
Oh gosh, no. That's just rude. Why have you walked up? Why is he walked up? He's got to hop first. Of course, I just give you the attack speed, which is
post hop. You do win that trade. That's really nice. Washi. We normally only see that adaptation in Korea, so really happy. A couple of times in the RLs as well.
Paying attention.
Yeah, getting his stuff done. You know, Nar is always seen as such a lazy pig as the all-in. Okay, they're not going to continue. Just a decent trade on Taha. But yeah,
don't quite proc the plasma either.
No, really cute. And then we normally see Nar as this lazy pick, he never does the same. Actually being active and proactive, even on a champion like this, sign of a good top lane, a sign of someone who's not afraid to try and get the last little bit out of every champion.
Indeed, and as it stands, we have not got anything super crazy outside of a couple cute little adaptations and attempted engages there, as Tom was just highlighting for you all out there. Man does like his little micro interactions, and we are left with a micro. Yeah, literally. I have had so many conversations with you. Have you heard about this tech? I was like, no. Where did you even hear about this? Well, why don't I tell you? And it's just 5 minutes later, this ridiculous diatribe of I talked to this person about this interaction in this way, and you just come out of it I am so much wiser. But how did you find this?
Normally it beats me in solo queue is the sad answer. As Ebby playing this lane as you're really meant to just so normally Big Gnar is just strongest champion in the game. Steal here. He's going to use our new tech. He's going to shadow over this wall. And that is him in behind Washidai, fresh onto Mini Gnar. This is going to be painful.
Definitely an angle here to be found. Just waiting for it. Ebby goes forward, misses the Arctic Assault, but will land the flail. The slow is there, and Washidai stepping forwards. He kept going. It'll force the flash. And now this Gnar is in a very precarious situation.
So many options. Steal, just knowing that he can clear that one side, get out onto the lane faster. This is the thing from Wukong in this season. We're going to see more and more of the Monkey King just surprising people, getting behind. Just adding that extra bit of oomph you need to burn a flash, to take a kill down. Great to see that so early on in this game.
Absolutely decent hook, but well buffered with the arcane Udabon, who was very ready for it. And you can see already from the way DFFB pathing, not passing, that obviously there's some topside focus with better setup, I think, arguably early on down there, is Hettel and Dresscode, though, taking the opportunity to be as aggressive and shoving as hard as they can, considering they know that Udapon and the Harp are somewhat on their own right now.
Yeah, it's something Sejuani just does so well that you wouldn't expect with her ratios set the way she was in jungle. It just turns out in lane, if you can get her a little bit ahead, that extra durability from the patch means you've got so much more Sejuani to hit someone with. And with such high base damages and extra rotation, really goes.
Is it Sejuani or Bristle? How much of the durability patch actually went to Bristle rather than Sejuani?
I think Bristle's always been the heavy lifter in this relationship. But
I think that's very true. I mean, don't get me wrong. The ultimate is pretty key, and I grant you that's quite a lot of Sejuani. But everything else, there's a lot of Bristle going on.
You know, I'm the biggest fan of the Q. It does way too much damage than it should, and that's all Bristle's face. So we're definitely praising the boy.
Righty then, we are left ourselves with, again, still relatively slow. Am I here? Oh.
You're just about here.
Oh, good. I got nervous for a second because I heard robot from your end, and I was like, "Oh no, is it me?" And I was like, "It might be me. It might not be." It's like permanent fear
Matched
now.
only
Just
for
gotta
a
know.
moment.
Are the
I
robots
think we've got
attacking?
it again now. Yaharong, he's got a few levels under his belt. This is where we still see some aggressive
Trade in mid
trades.
lane.
Just that sort of again and again, jumping up on the Corki. Oh, I said it was working again, didn't I, listeners? That is not what you want to do when your co-caster is struggling with internet, because it will immediately curse them to this. The robots are attacking.
And that is absolutely the
Oh, you're back.
Nicely
Hello,
done, by
Sam.
the way. I am. It was just slightly awkward. I ended up with like a little bit of robot from you, and I was like, oh, I think that might be me, and it was me.
Yeah.
So I
It's
waited,
been a good
and then it all calmed
indicator
down.
so far.
Yeah, I listen for the sounds of the robot invasions and whether I need to call John Connor again, and thus far it's worked out pretty well. As nice little dash away there with the battle dance and fighting over this scuttle, which is now secured by V3, but DFM will swiftly roam in to at least secure more control wall coverage, even if they don't manage to get a hold of that speed shrine from the scuttle crab.
Yeah, almost had a bit of a kettle there where they could have grouped together V3 and looked for something a little more explosive. See Ebby here just trying to deny the teleport from Washidai, just trying to make sure the Gnar is stuck in lane. That's why such an aggressive trade with a little health bar. He is pulling steel up. He's not going to move to the dragon initially. Ebby, this should give everything away here.
Oh, boy. Yeah, they're going to keep hopping forward. But remember, the stun straight into the ultimate. That was smoothly played by this most long-standing of top jungle duos, Ebby and Steel. They will always find you one way or another.
No escape from the man-bear-pig-monkey combo. No escape from continuous trading. Harp will take a chunk. It's not the end of the world, but with both junglers finishing off their top sides and coming down, you have to be pretty careful with your health bar. This dragon will be forfeit.
Definitely feels that way. Still, gonna get a little bit of a replay here, and we'll just see. You're right. It was the cancel on the easy back into the teleport, and Ebby baits this one so well.
Yeah, if you're looking at across the map as well, we do see Viego was in position to head towards that dragon. It's called away, goes for the wolves. Steel adapts. Cross map no longer in place. Ebby gives it away, jumps on Washidai, stacks the stun as fast as possible, chains the ultimate just to make sure the Steel has enough time to finish off the cute, fluffy, perennial top laner of the LJL in
the man-bear-pig-monkey combo with the crab emote and then the dead Gnar thing is in the bot side. Harp and Udapon trying their absolute best, but it's still going to be a very dead Rakan into a smooth use of that Dredstein. Udapon trying to survive and gets away until a flash forward secures dress code. Another nice little dive there from V3.
He's looking sharp tonight. He's put on his dancing shoes, and just a great example of how Kaiser and that bot lane is able to do so much damage to an Ezreal. We can see Yu-Gi-Oh traded here. He's going to flash away, so will survive. Wow. But over that extended trade, the Ezreal does not offer more than a few Mystic shots every few seconds, and the Kaiser can just explode.
Every summoner pop from every member involved in that little fight down the bot side. Dress code, Hettel, all down their summoners, Unica down his flash, but they do make it work because DFM thought they had a little bit of an opportunity and thought they got out, but just a fantastic hook from Hettel, who's been having a few of those heat-seeking ones this game.
The timing from Unica is also impressive to just come in as DFM felt ready to commit. The exhaust keeps him alive, but dress code in such great positioning has done so much damage in the fight already. Able to take that one down and provide a tempo advantage, initialize, for V3 against DFM.
Doing very well off that. Of course, it's still going to be a little bit of a cross map because Steel takes that opportunity to start up the Herald as Udapon needs to time that well and does read it super well and gets straight on out. That was nicely done, but now needs to be back away here as a dive is very much a possibility.
Yeah, I really thought Unica would have read minds there, but Udapon going a little bit further. We'll use the True Shot Barrage to clear out the wave, minimize their losses.
Yeah.
DFM are getting priority consistently in mid. It's what's delaying V3's Dragon hit. They will start. There is a timer here where maybe DFM can go for a revenge play straight into the bottom lane. You've not got TP on mid, so
idea.
It's probably not going to happen. I really want to see which way Steel comes out of here. There is the angle.
I mean, there's so many summoners down for V3 right now as well, which does mean there is a real opportunity with the pretty heavy dive combo that DFM have between, you know, the top side of the map plus a Rakan and then Ezreal following up, right? That Herald play could get really nasty if someone stays where they shouldn't.
Yeah, it's it's in their back pocket. And where they go with it now, with no dragon on the map, they've got a little more creative freedom. You're not so tied to the valuable things of the map. They're already gone. Instead, you can see a little bit more expression from DFM. They are shoving this top lane so fast. Ebby clearly has been playing a bit of solo queue and adapting post MSI. Is already ready on these durability top lane champions.
It does feel that way. And of course, right now, gold is pretty much dead even, partly because of that really nice play in bot side that brought V3 back into it. The issue is, of course, that's that held in pocket, as we've been kind of mentioning, and just working out where that will be dropped. There's some rumors, suggestions it might be looking towards something like a bot lane with the way Yahrung was just echoing around, and Steel right now double camping around the Grump, the blue buff, to see whether he can start pathing down towards this mid come bot side of the map. Yujo needs to be very afraid here. That's with the package on. Doesn't use it. You can see the Yahrung was going to see whether he could force that out of the Corki before something like a dragon could be ready and willing to spawn.
Yeah, it's always the way with Yone. You never know when he's quite going to commit. You can keep doing these advantageous trades and just healing up slightly, slowly over time. Package there, use just... Excuse me, it's clear out the wave, Rumble Alt-esque. If you don't get to hold on to it,
I have to say, like, I'm trying to work out what that was
powerful
picked up for. The Herald, of course, because normally it's picked up around the fights, and I don't think there was a fight really available for it. And now Yujo needs to be very afraid as Steel and Hop are hanging around looking to see whether there's an angle in to punish his Corki.
Nothing quite found at the moment, and with Unica on the top side, this is going to be a bit of a stalemate for a little while. Neither jungler willing to commit to the play. This Herald does have to be summoned in the next minute or so. Yahrung found out Unica will engage.
Oh, that was very smooth.
Very
nicely timed there with the Qs. And of course, Yahrung was a player we weren't all that impressed with at MSI. Struggled quite a lot against the international caliber competition into a big fight in topside. I'll have to talk about Yahrung a little later as Washidai forced out of lane there, but no ignite down.
Yeah, looked a little bit closer than it was. That ignite. We've done so much as the transformation came back through, but not quite enough to finish it. Ebby will hold on to it for now. Next fight across the map will be the Dragon in a few minutes. I believe it should come just before the Herald. DFM, they're going to commit to mid. They're not. Oh, they will summon the Herald just slightly early, so that won't take the tower here, but it will guarantee the rest of the plates. It's too close. It's too fast for V3.
Oh, top side, Watchdog's gonna die. He's done. The Ignite gets it. Ebby on the Sejuani gets the solo killers in mid lane. The Herald is killed with no charge.
That's incredible. I really thought they'd get it through. Great work from V3 to pop the eye on time, and such presence from Ebby. We saw after that last trade, it's like, the Ignite not down. He couldn't quite get it. Does it again. Rinses and repeats. Sejuani just so good in the 1v1 when you can reach someone.
Mid lane there, just another little look in from Yahrung rather, but nothing to be found. We've got a little replay here now to see how this one happened in mid.
Yeah, they do catch the eye. Oh, and it's just in time. Corki firing away on rockets, even the W across the front to add a tiny bit of extra burn. V3 throwing the kitchen sink as staying in this game.
And honestly, that's pretty well done. It meant that that gold doesn't come through there, which is great news. And on the bot side, remember, there was a fair number of those plates have gone through towards dress code. That Kai'Sa, which you said could become a little problematic if there's some good dive angles. And of course, Kai'Sa, not necessarily all the people she wants to dive onto here. It's mainly the Ezreal. Everyone else might be a little bit sad.
She's largely evasive of Sejuani and Yone as well. It's really sort of just got such an angle here where she can evade the initial big cooldowns, like the Glacial Prison, the it's not Last Breath. What is Yone's ultimate?
It's an example. It's certainly an example.
A thing. It's edgy like that. And then just turn it around and blow up at least one of these slightly squishy members. Looking at Ezreal, looking at Rakan, looking at Yone. If he can't fight back, he is not super durable. Unica here, he's under this tower. We'll have a teleport to support.
That's so smoothly timed. Yujo needs to be so afraid. In comes Steel. The Cyclone is there. Ebby might die afterwards, though, but my days, the stun makes him for one, and DFM will get first tower in mid as well. That is so nicely played. Yahrung, hats off on the teleport timing.
A trade you would take any day. Yahrung gets in, messes up Yu-Gi-Oh before they are able to cement themselves behind that tower. It just pushes DFM forwards in what has been a game way closer than any of us expected. DFM have started to show signs of life.
And the thing is, I actually don't want to say this is DFM inverted commas playing poorly. I actually think V3 have been making some really good coordinated plays.
So
but then,
much cleaner than I expected.
Right, but then this play here was just vintage DFM. When they were finding their advantages at MSI early game, it was off plays like this.
Yeah, they do catch out Unico, who's left without a teammate. Yuji are doing so well to survive for so long, but when you're locked into that teleport, it just makes Yone's job so easy to dive on forwards. With the first tower gone, we can see some differences as Yaharong not giving Washidai a moment will fall away, but just another example of how the Gnar really isn't going to have a great time in the side lanes. That is now a weakness DFM are looking to exploit.
Doesn't feel like there's very many good side lane chips for V3. Looking in the inventories, depends whether Yu-Gi-Oh goes towards the Liandry's or not. I suppose that might help versus a Sejuani side lane, but I feel like you're going to want the poke elsewhere. As Utapon currently shoving this wave into the tier 2 very happily. DFM really putting the screws on as Yu-Gi-Oh in so much danger. The bop comes through. No Cyclone needed quite yet, and they just get in, get out, and that is a dead Corki with no response.
If you V3 here, oh, there's the slight response.
What?
Steal. Absolute robbery by the minion block there. They will get a tower of their own in the top side in trade. That's what it feels like to get away with daylight robbery. You know, your opponents have shown 3 members on the bot side. They're not rotating. They will finally come up a minute later to defend the tower. But DFM just knowing where to turn the screws, where to push the advantage. It's great work so far to come back into this game.
I'm sure Steel will be very upset about that minion block. That was really quite aggravating, actually.
Yeah, the amount of games I've seen him steal from nowhere, you know what? The minions deserve that one. I think it is well and truly owed. Oh, what a way to come back into a mid game. V3 not losing immediately versus DFM, doing slightly ahead, and now just starting to bleed a bit of that advantage back over.
Yeah, and again, this was a first v last place matchup from Spring. V3 are winless across this year in a triple round robin. They are 0-22 as it stands with the additional game loss at the beginning of the summer split so far. And they do seem to have improved, but the issue still remains, of course, that V3 always had okay early games. We saw some decent early games out of them across Spring. It's been the mid and late games where things have fallen apart, and unfortunately that mid game explosion of gold that came out of DFM making plays for multiple lanes there, a few in a row, has really hurt V3 again. And while we've seen improvement against DFM with those weaknesses still there, if shored up so much, it's still hurting them a little.
Yeah, slow burning issue of their side lanes. That Corki still on 0 completed items technically. It's just taking them a little bit longer to get where they're going. If you look at their counterparts across on DFM, they're ready to play. That Yone really can already dance to the best. All you need is a Zeal. All you need is the Mythic. He's just ready to dance.
And I'll take this opportunity now to go back towards that conversation about Yaharong, as I'm hoping my internet's not about to fall over.
We did go back to Berlin, but you're here again.
Okay, we're there. Good. So saying Yaharong obviously had a pretty rough MSI tournament, kind of got a bit manhandled across it, but it's really good to see this guy come back, pick up a different style of champion, and start being a proactive, dangerous member of this team, and try and learn from the pretty harsh lessons that he in particular had at MSI. And now second Herald spawn bot, and DFM just grouping up to try and shove in and get another charge here.
Yeah, we did see that difference. The veterancy of MSI International Mids was quite high. The experience in the extra tournament. He's going to start up. Washidai will be stunned.
Oh, Washidai does get the big Mega Gnar into the wall, but I think he's potentially just going to die as Ebby actually goes down, but it will be a 1-for-1, all things end under the Ignite. Cure that top laner for top laner trade.
Not what DFM were going for there. They will push forwards. They do control the area around the dragon now, most importantly. It's their first rotation. There's one more chance to base before this objective comes through is theirs. They hold a slight vision advantage. However, V3 have somewhat fought their way back in. They still have a control ward in the Tribush from when they push deep on bot lane, sacrifice their tier 2 tower. To see in the rotation whether it keeps them in this game. We see here just Ebby so keen to just start up on this Gnar time and time again. Just the amount of damage that comes through. And even though Hop was scooped underneath. Not too much danger. The change CC does punish Ebby, but DFM hold their position, and if we come back to live, actually, they've sacrificed it immediately.
Between a full tank Sejuani and a Yone, I think this thing will die.
It's so astounding. Sam's gone to the robot army.
All right, time to see, can they make this happen? Pulling off.
We've got 2 Sams now. This is incredible.
The term I've called John Connor again. I think I'm back. Hettel taken pretty damn low, especially now the dragon's there. John Connor sorted me out. Just permanent invasions. That's what it is.
2 steals, 2 initializers. That's all we need. The Baron was a lot. That was a lot, and they got V3 towards. Yeah.
This move way over. This is really nice. And again, like the fact that's going to be a consistent threat, right? Like Sejuani plus Yone will always be able to 2-man this one, especially now they're high enough in levels and a couple items to the good, can definitely just start doing this. And now they need to have V3 constantly on and aware of what's going on. Yaron just goes in to see if he can get the 1-for-1 or just a 1-for-none. Actually, I take that back. Why would I say that's a 1-for-1? As they just murder the support. All the while, though, a little bit of a fight still occurring. I'm going to back away now, and I think they're just going to take the kill and back off.
They do manage to ensure that trade. Just walking up on Baron secures a takedown of its own. Will now fade back into their lanes.
Hello, Tom. Am I alive?
You are. I've still got old you in the background.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Hello.
Yeah.
As the Baron madness was happening, that was possibly not great timing for when a play-by-play needs to do the yelling thing. As Harp heads through a Hex Deck gate. Not going to find too much to bother him, though he's going to try and clear off this control ward before the Baron is likely aggroed and attacks him in trade. But not going to happen right now. He's back away. Still, as we stand here looking at this relatively peaceful moment, 20 minutes crested, got ourselves a little bit of time now before anything super crazy happens again, though, of course, I've said that, and then, of course, Yone and Sejuani will try and 2-man the Baron again. I guarantee it. That's just the way the caster curses work. But we are now sitting at a point where Ebby's continually trading like this. Instead, DFM decide, well, with things a little bit quieter, we've got an angle here to maybe kill Glenn, who did burn his flash, escaping from the last attempt in bot side, and that's so well timed for Udapon to turn up. As the mini-Gnar comes through, another stun's about to come out, and there's just nothing to be done. They'll get the kill, and there's no real option for responses. Yaharong, just look for the all-in on top side, on the opposite side of the map. Might now be potentially punishable if Unica and Hettel can get up there. I just don't think it's possible.
He should still be
mid-lane. Just every laner once! Every laner once! DFM try bot, then top, and then they'll get another in mid.
Dress code a little slow to the adaptation, not realizing that from bot lane, mid lane is on the way to the Baron, which is solely in DFM's mind right now. Push it through, they push away.
Control.
Yuju still does hold everything here. The Baron position is one of Corki's favorites. He's got to get closer, he's got to deal some damage if they want to push off of this. DFM just burned through that objective so quickly. He's probably not going to get an option. Here we go. He can get onto Udapon.
They just go straight over. They do get a hold of the Nautilus, but the jungler is alive. Steel is the one outside of the pit right now, but I think it's surely about to go down into the back. Goes Unica, can make it a steal, but no, they just hop straight back in and murder him. Good discipline about making sure it's not burstable range, and DFM get a load of kills and get on out.
They do manage to secure the Baron in it. A little bit of backwards and forwards. Yuju maybe not focusing the target that would have allowed him to get into the pit, into range to contest that Unica so close to a steal. Only 300 health early. But V3 try their hardest. It's not quite enough at this stage. The coast to coast bot lane to Baron from DFM secures them an advantage now. 8,000 gold. Bounties will come through, and it is now on V3 to find a way back in. They are well and truly behind. The game, which we saw even so much earlier, a long distant memory.
Does feel that way, and DFM in the mid game looking very contained, very controlled until Yaron just does another one of those solo plays to come out and murder two people.
Clean and calculated. Yaron just using Hettel as a gap stop to reach Yu-Gi-Oh.
It's all but over at this point. You've lost your bot lane. You've got 5v3 and nothing left to work with. Tom, it's done.
It looked good for V3 in the early stages, but unfortunately, DFM hold on just a little too well, a little too long. And our spring champions, our MSI representatives are on the board. They have got themselves out of the hole nice and early. A little bit of a base fight still to go. Damage backwards and forwards. Dress code will just about survive. V3 aren't getting off that platform anytime soon. That is second game over to DFM. They got a 1-1 in spring.
0